There are a lot of like really smart young men out there who love what's happening right now. It's not actually an IQ thing or an education thing. Having them take a class where they're like on their phone under the desk, you know, but the teacher's explaining that tariffs are economically bad policy, that's not going to do it. They can't be that smart then. You literally don't think smart people can have bad ideas? It's not about their knowledge. It's about the emotional impulses that are leading them to align with the arguments and narratives that Trump is pushing. Yeah, you don't want to go down the Democrat technocratic route where you're like, well, if everything was being administrated by competent people who understood how everything works, then we'd be fine. No, that's how we got into this mess. Intelligent people can be extremely evil. No, no, no. I'm not talking about evil either. I'm talking about emotional susceptibility to narratives. Getting swept up in the idea. You feel this ennui. You're lonely post-COVID. You feel like nothing matters. The government never does anything good for you. Everything's stagnated. You feel like you have very little trust in society. Like these narratives are what drive people to follow these paths more so than a misinformed belief on tariffs. I don't know. It sounds like a skill issue. Well, yeah. I do not believe a significant portion of Republican voters know what they voted for. Dude, no one knows what they voted for. There are literally like multi-millionaire middle managers for banks that are like, we didn't think Trump would actually do the tariffs. We didn't realize it wasn't a bit. We thought he was doing a bit, you know? It's no one knows anything, okay? You have to grab the narrative. But he said in literally every speech that he was going to impose tariffs and deport migrant workers, and people still somehow thought grocery price was would go down. Yeah, and you know what? You're not any better than them. I'm sorry. I reject. You cannot gaze into the abyss too long and thus become what you hate, okay? The reason we're in this mess right now is because the people with the money to finance these elections think that democracy is an impediment to not only their interest, but to society's interests. I don't think Elon Musk necessarily thinks he wants to fuck the entire planet over for himself. I think he thinks that he would be the greatest God King to ever rule, and everything would suddenly make sense, and he would be able to steer mankind to a glorious future. I think he thinks that. I think a lot of megalomaniacs think that way. I don't think most people think of themselves as evil, you know? You don't want to fall into the trap that they fell into of like, well, the problem is that people are stupid. I say people are stupid on stream all the time, and it's true, but that's not the underlying cause of this, okay? And you know how I know that? Go talk to a blue state liberal and talk to them about like any political position you have. Wow, turns out both sides are pretty fucking dumb, huh? Hey, go on Twitter and talk to somebody whose bio says they're a communist. Oof, I know. Yeah, just a random person. Roll the dice. I know. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? It's going to be like that forever. There is no economic policy that'll make this not be a thing. That's just not how it is. It's not how it works. The problem here isn't about intelligence. The problem here isn't about whether or not you know or don't know what tariffs do to the economy. The problem is people falling into narratives, right? People being emotionally compelled to support narratives that hurt them. It's about emotions. The logical arguments are secondary, usually a post hoc justification. It's about the gut feeling people have. People are scared. People are anxious. People feel like a future that they deserved is being taken from them. I think all these feelings are kind of fair. So who's going to address those feelings, right? Hillary Clinton with her everything is already fine, America is already great, and also we're going to marginally tweak like, you know, Pell Grant tax benefit, maybe like a slight rebate on da-da-da, like, or Donald Trump with a grand sweeping, you know, main character narrative. You get me. It's about engaging with these feelings that people have. It's the reason why Bernie Sanders, for the most part, is popular in a lot of areas where Donald Trump does well. As a red state, Doc Dem, Vaush is so correct, I'm literally hard. Happy to keep you perked up. It's just important to keep in mind. Is it all right to be afraid? What are you, a fucking sheep? What are you asking me for permission for? Feel whatever you want. I don't control your mind. Do you think that's why Carney is popular in America? I think that like there are a lot of reasons why Carney is popular in Canada, not America, in Canada. But like that's less of it. Like the narrative there is one of Canada being betrayed for no reason by America, their closest partner, and Carney being the alternative to a guy who sucks up to Trump. Obama had a narrative too. Too bad it was all horseshit. Yeah, but before people figured out it was horseshit, he won by some pretty big margins, didn't he? He won bigly. So the point is that it doesn't matter if the narrative is true. Yeah, it basically doesn't. The narratives don't get passed through Congress. Narratives aren't bills. Narratives are ways you sell an idea. You can package the same set of policies in different narratives all you want. If you wanted to implement like neo-Keynesian social democracy, you could package that in like a populist socialist revolution way. You could package that in a like technocratic, we're going to finally make the economy work properly again way. You could posit this in like a fascistic, you know, the economy is run by Jewish people and we're going to like run it, you know, we're going to use the government to like really start spending and not let the banks control everything. You can take the same post-Keynesian, not neo-Keynesian. You can take the same set of policies and run them through people's head in a bunch of different ways, but it does need to be a compelling narrative. Now, I think it would be much better to posit those ideas more honestly in like a socialist, you know, making the economy fair again kind of way than in an anti-Semitic way. But the point is, like, it needs to be thought of as an extra layer to politics, right? You can't just assume that because your policies will work that people will like them. It's a stupid thing to believe. You can't chastise people for being stupid just because you failed to sell them on your idea. You're a politician. That's your job. Man, following the news is really tiring these days. I really do have the hardest job in the world. It's crazy to think about. All those firefighters and child cobalt slave miners and such. I hope they feel a bit of comfort late at night as they drift off to sleep, knowing that they're not at the apex of the pyramid. You need cobalt? No, I'm more of an indigo guy myself. I've got like indigo dyed t-shirts, indigo dyed Henley shirts. I've got an indigo dyed sweatshirt, jeans, obviously. Indigo dyed jackets. Those hand-loomed denim jeans that I have are actually natural indigo, not synthetic. So it's got a green tint to it. Anyway, not relevant. Indigo comes off all over everything. Yeah, but don't worry about it too much if it does, you know? Indigo isn't like most other dyes. If it rubs off on stuff, it can usually be removed. Stained my phone once. I've gotten a stain on my neck from a indigo dyed bandana.